Boussi. I started with Hamadeh Educational Services 10 years ago. This is my 10th year with the organization.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I remember being interviewed for a good 2 hours with our current Director of Human Resources. Basically I started as a biology teacher over at Star International Academy. Within a few years, I made my way up to curriculum coordinator, then assistant principal, and then principal. I don't know how that happened, it just did. And basically right now I'm serving the role of principal over at Universal Learning Academy. At that level is part of the success of every school within HES. So they take that leadership on their own. They're empowered to be within the classrooms, they're empowered to be, in the hallways, helping out day in and day out. It really provides the support to the ULA administration and even across the HES districts. That is something commonly seen. The parents are involved in the decision making, and they are always the backbone of the academy. They're there helping you with the day-to-day activities, school-wide events, supporting you with the decision-making process. In my entire 10 years, I've had nothing but positive experience as far as I wanted to be a doctor. I initially actually started in pre-med and was getting ready to take the MCAT when things have changed in my life, and I just wasn't finding myself being a doctor as a long-term career. It just wasn't me. And so I just incidentally went into teaching. It wasn't necessarily something planned. However, the more I got into this career, the more I found, yeah, it was there. That was my passion. That was something I was doing in elementary school. I was gathering the neighborhood kids and I was teaching them biology, incidentally.
At the early age.
At the early age. I remember the photosynthesis lesson I taught to every single kid in the neighborhood. But I never made the connection. I never really connected the dots and said, oh, maybe, someday I'll be a teacher. And yes, I did end up going into teaching. I majored in biology. My minor was health. I wanted to pursue further, and I started a master's in microbiology, never finished that, because at that time I actually ended up making the transition to administration and pursued my master's in educational leadership. What really works is the approach of empowering staff, is the approach of believing that you need each and every single person in that building to make the job happen, but to make it happen in an efficient and effective way. It's about empowering others and finding the talent in each teacher, in each administrator you have in the building, and using that talent in more of a shared leadership approach. This has been more of the philosophy I have taken on, and I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more proud of myself for reflecting on the approach, because as a new administrator, you're trying to figure out, there's not a course in college, there's not a mentoring program that will tell you what's the right way. You have to find the right way based on the needs of your building. You have to find the right approach based on the group you're working with. You have to be, as a leader, very flexible. There are always various ways. There's not one way for the job to get done and for the decision to be the right decision. And as a principal, as a leader, I find it very important to have that flexibility and that mindset where you're listening to others and you're recognizing, yeah, you're right. We could take this approach instead of the approach I just presented to you. And finally, you grow as a leader, and that's what we call emotional maturity, really, in leadership. The more you become emotionally mature, the more it's easier for you to handle the job of a principal. The more it becomes a joy to be the principal, the more it becomes really that reward you get at the end of the day, working with others and seeing your staff succeed in what they're doing and seeing your students succeed in what they're doing. So really my overall philosophy in a nutshell is I need to be able to share that talent and share every skill that I have amongst the student body, the staff, and the parents, because if they're successful, you're successful. You have to listen to them. When staff feel, see, and sense that you are listening to their ideas, and you're open to changes, and you're open to a different approach, they will at that point believe that you believe in them. You believe in the fact that they can make a difference. It's not just about the person in charge or the person behind the principal's desk. Absolutely not. It doesn't work that way. It's not even feasible. It's not even physically feasible. And so it's not a strategy. It's not an approach. It's more of a, let's work together. And the more we work together, the more they find their voices being heard, the more they get involved. They want to get involved when they sense that you are listening to them, that you are involving them in the decision making. There's never a case I would say that I would just say, hey, this is what we're doing. No, let's get together. This is one idea. What do you think? I'm really nervous. I'm not too sure. What do you guys think? What have you experienced before? Let me know. And then we come up with a decision, and after something is implemented, whether it's a testing schedule, whether it is a school-wide event, we come back and say, this went really well, good job, high five. It's being there on the floor, involved with the teachers.
Teamwork.
Exactly, teamwork. That's how I find staff getting motivated and wanting to take on leadership positions, whether I'm not necessarily referring to administrative position, but more of a teacher leadership approach within their own departments or grade, and ownership within their own classes, departments, or grade level. So just being with them, to them, and for them, I find myself getting motivated and sort of transferring and sharing that positivity with them based on my experience. Within my capacity, the biggest challenge is ensuring motivating the students to not settling for the less. I'm a true believer in you can do more. I'm a true believer in what's the next thing on the agenda. I'm a true believer in if you are talented in art, then you need to be in the Congressional Art Contest. If you are talented in science, then you need to go beyond your local science fair. If you are talented in English, move on, publish. In my previous principalship, I've had several published books, and actually we've had one of my own former students move forward, and he's currently a writer. That's currently the biggest challenge, is that we need you to step out of that comfort zone and know sky is your limit. You can reach anything you ever can think of. It doesn't always have to be academic, because not everyone is academically talented in that manner. You may have a talent that's hidden within you. You just have to explore it. You need someone empowering you. You need a teacher, an administrator, a fellow classmate that's going to stand behind you and say, okay, go forward, move forward. With my family lives it. I'm a mother of 3. My oldest is 8, and then I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. My kiddos already have career talents. One of my kids wants to be a principal, and I asked her, "Where do you want to be a principal at?" "I want to be a principal at your building." Okay, so
take you out.
Yeah, exactly. So they live it. We make it part of our life, so it's not something that's perceived in a negative way. No, it's a reward. If I succeed, it's for all of us. When there's a school event, I want them to be there and see, we're doing this for our school. We're doing this for your school. My children, do attend the academies, and I do that on purpose because I want them to be part of what I believe in. I want them to grow with me, and I want them to have that leadership as well as students, as empowered students within their own grade level. And that's how I make it part of my life, because I enjoy what I do. And it's not a burden. It is I would say it's a commitment that we made as a family. And the day we step out of this commitment, it would have to be a family decision. So I don't separate. I don't believe in separation, because when you separate, it becomes more of the thing that I do outside of my personal life. But it's not a thing. It just, as a principal, it won't work that way. I've had several mentors throughout my professional career. I actually served as assistant principal with several principals within Hamadeh Educational Services. I was able to really learn a lot from each individual principal that I've worked with, and I was able to reflect on what really works for me as a leadership style, what is going to serve me personally and my belief as an educator. I continue to work with the superintendent, Mrs. Nawal Hamadeh, who really is the inspiration behind the fact that I've been here for 10 years. Mrs. Hamadeh has been a great leader within our community, and I was able to work along with her in this journey of 10 years. And I continue to want to support this mission and vision of HES, because at the end of the day, it is a school of choice. It is a commitment that this organization has made to the community, and it's an opportunity for the parents and staff and professionals as me that want to make a difference in the lives of students that need it most. And this is where I find Mrs. Hamadeh the true inspiration of where I am today. I could be in many other organizations. However, because the mission and the vision has been focused on really nurturing the students' needs academically, behaviorally, emotionally, I find myself as an integral part of this organization, which is why I continue to be a member and obviously a staff here.